What's going on, my dudes? This is Mr. Gardner, and this is Math Time with Mr. G. So today we're going to learn how to graph when there's an absolute value in our equation. There's a lot of steps to this, so hold on. So let's just say I was given a y equals mx plus b, and I didn't know how to graph it. The first thing I could do is make a table, and then I want to always plug in what I'm calling magic points. Magic points are -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. If I do this, I have somewhere in the middle, some negative, some positive, and it should give me a really good idea of the picture that they're trying to have me draw. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this number, plug it in for x to find y. Now that I have all my points, I could go over to my graph and plot these points. Now that I have my dots, I just connect them and add arrows at the end. So if I didn't know how to do it, I would just create an xy table, do -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, plug them in, and figure out what my y is to graph it. The same is true with an absolute value. So I'm going to plug in my magic points, plug into my equation, and figure out how they graph. So notice when I plug in the -2, it's still 2 units away. So here are my points. I'm just going to go graph them. So no matter what our absolute value equation is, it's going to make this V shape with a center point. Okay, so there's two big words with absolute value graphs. The first one is axis of symmetry. So that is going to be when does our graph change direction and mirror itself. Just like when you look at a mirror, you're going to be the same distance in the mirror than you are outside the mirror. And the same is true with axis of symmetry. So my axis of symmetry for this one is my mirror is right there. And if it is 4 units away this way, it's going to be 4 units away that way. So this is my axis of symmetry. And we say that it is at x is equal to 2. All right, and the last thing is our vertex. Our vertex is when the graph is at either its lowest point or its highest point. So with this one, it's going down, stops, and go up. So this is our lowest point. But if we had a V shape like this, our vertex would be the highest point. So we refer to this as our max and min, and the vertex for this graph is 2, 1. So we have an absolute value graphing equation. Some textbooks refer to it as vertex form, and it looks like this. This plus or minus means that if it's positive, our graph is going to be a V that opens up, and if you're positive, you're smiling. And if it's negative, our graph is going to look like this. If it's negative, you're frowning. A is our rate of change, so how far up and over are we going? H is how far left or right we're going, but due to the equation being negative, it's always opposite of what we think. So if it says +2 in here, that means that we are going to go to the left 2. But if it says -1, we're going to go to the right 1. And this K term is our up, down, and it is what you think. Let's do a couple examples to prove what these letters mean. All right, so here's my equation again, and I always start at the origin. There is no K term, so I'm not going to go up or down. There's no H term, so I'm not going to go left or right. But I have a rate of change of 2. So that means I go up 2 over 1. But if you remember, it's a V shape in absolute value, so we have to do it in the opposite direction. So we're going to go up 2 over 1. Same thing here. I have no K, so I'm going to not go up or down. I have no H, so I'm not going to go left or right. But I have a rate of change of down 1 over 3. And there's my negative and frowny face. Okay, so I have a K of +1, so that means from the origin, go up 1. I have no H, so that means no left or right. And if there's nothing here, that's just a slope of 1, so up 1 over 1. Again, I'm going to start at my origin. The K is +2, so I'm going to go up 2. And then my slope is -1, so I'm going to go down 1 over 1. All right, getting a little bit more complicated now that we have an H. There's no K term, so that means no up or down. But I have a -2. And because if I were to plug -2 in here, it's going to be negative, so it's opposite of what I think. So it's to the right 2, no up or down, a rate of change of 1, so up 1 over 1, There's my graph. No k term here, so I'm not going to go up or down. It's opposite of what I think, so I'm going to go to the left 3, then up 1, over 1. All right, so a couple with everything, so I'm going to go down 2, to the left 1, and that's my vertex. And that's why we call it vertex form, because now I have it at -1, -2 is my vertex, and my axis of symmetry is going to be where x is equal to -1. My rate of change says to go up 1, over 2. So this means to go up 1, to the right 2. So my vertex is at 2, 1. My axis of symmetry is when x is equal to 2. Then I have a rate of change of up 3, over 1. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, hit me up in the comment section. But other than that, be kind to each other, ask lots of questions, and think deeply.